April 6th. I bought one strawberry plant for $9 because a video told me it would turn into 100 by fall, and I didn't believe a word of it. I want to be honest about that up front, because most of these videos lie to you, and I almost didn't film this one. I've clicked on enough free garden hack thumbnails that turned out to be someone reciting a Google search to know the difference between a real trick and a content farm rewriting the same paragraph. Here's the plant. One pot, $9. A tag that says early glow stuck in the soil like a dare. If this doesn't work, you're about to watch someone waste a whole summer on nothing. And I'm going to show you that too, not cut around it. If it does work, by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to do it yourself, for free. Let's go. April 6th, evening. I put it in the ground. Full sun, decent soil. Watered it, walked away. Nothing interesting happens for weeks after this. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. May 19th. First berries. Small, a little tart, gone in one bite each. Nothing about the plant looks any different than the day I bought it. Still one plant, still one root ball. If you stopped watching here, you'd think the whole premise was a scam. June 2nd. This is the part nobody shows you, because it's boring, and boring doesn't get clicks. The plant stops putting energy into berries and starts putting it somewhere else. You can actually watch this happen if you check every few days. Thin stems start reaching sideways out of the base, low to the ground, longer than anything else on the plant. Those are runners. That's the whole trick right there. And it costs nothing, because the plant does it whether you want it to or not. Garden centers near me were still charging $9 to $12 a plant this same week, selling people the exact thing sitting in my dirt for free. June 9th. 4 runners now. 2 of them already 3 inches long. Along each one, at a gap of a few inches, a tiny cluster of leaves shows up, barely bigger than a fingernail. That's a baby plant. It's still attached to the mother by the runner, still being fed through it, not independent yet. I made my first mistake here. I got excited and cut one off immediately, assuming a root would just show up on its own once it hit soil. It didn't. That baby plant was dead within 4 days, because it had no roots of its own yet, and I just amputated its only food source. Lesson in real time, not in theory. Don't cut anything until there's a root system underneath it. I'll come back to how you actually check that. I looked this up afterward, annoyed at myself, and found out commercial strawberry growers in California's Central Valley have been running their entire nursery stock off this exact runner method since the 1950s, on thousands of acres, and I just managed to mess up the home version of something an entire industry does successfully every year. June 14th. Fixed the mistake. This time, instead of cutting, I set a small cup of potting soil directly under the next baby plant in line, and pinned it down against the dirt with a bent paper clip. Runner still attached to the mother. Left it completely alone. June 21st. Second baby plant. Same setup, different cup. Third one 2 days after that. By the end of June, I've got 5 cups sitting under 5 different runners, all still tethered to the original plant like it's feeding a small family. July 3rd. Tug test on the first cup. Gentle pull. Resistance. It's rooted. That took roughly 3 weeks from pin to root, which lines up with what extension agents at Oregon State's berry research program list as typical rooting time for June-bearing varieties in a normal growing season. Cut the runner. First independent daughter plant. Genetically identical to the one I bought in April. Cost: 1 paperclip and a cup of dirt I already had. July 9th to July 24th. This is where it stops being a trick and starts being math. Every cup I set out roots in roughly 3 weeks. The mother plant, now fully redirected toward runner production instead of fruiting, is pushing out new runners faster than I can keep up with cups. By the end of July, I've lost count of exact numbers, because I stopped checking every single day. But a rough tally puts me somewhere past 40 rooted or rooting daughter plants off the one original. Here's the number that made me actually sit down and do the math properly. A single healthy strawberry plant can throw 30 to 50 runners across one full season, and each runner typically produces 2 to 4 daughter plants along its length before it's spent. August 2nd. Second mistake, and this one cost me more than the first. I let too many daughter plants root exactly where they landed instead of spacing them. And by early August, that whole section of the bed had gone dense enough that airflow dropped, and I started seeing the early grey fuzz of botrytis on a few of the lower leaves. Nothing fatal, but it's the kind of thing that spreads fast in a crowded, humid bed, especially where I live, where July and August afternoons sit thick with humidity most days. I thinned it out, gave everything more room, pulled the worst affected leaves entirely instead of just trimming them, and it cleared up within a week. If I'd caught it later, it wouldn't have been that easy, and a wetter August could have taken out a third of that section before I noticed anything was wrong. August 20th. Counted properly this time, cup by cup, plant by plant. 86 confirmed rooted daughters, another dozen still rooting, a handful of runners still actively growing. One plant, bought in April for $9, is now sitting somewhere between 90 and 110 plants, depending on how you count the ones that are still a few days from being ready to cut. I'll say the number the video promised, because it's true. Over 100 by the end of the growing season, from one plant, for free. Here's what nobody tells you about year 3 though, and it's the part I almost left out, because it doesn't make the trick sound as clean. Every one of those daughters is a genetic clone of the original. No reshuffling, no new genetics, nothing. Do this same thing off the same lineage for 3-4 years running, and you start seeing smaller berries, weaker plants, more disease pressure, the same slow decline any clone shows over generations without fresh genetics mixed in. Commercial growers deal with this by buying certified virus-free stock from tissue culture labs every couple of years. At home, the fix is simpler. Keep one line going for 2, maybe 3 seasons, then start a fresh mother plant from a different source before the quality drop becomes obvious in the fruit. So the real trick isn't just letting one plant multiply. It's knowing when to stop riding that same lineage and start a new one before the plant tells you it's time, by giving you worse berries than the year before. $9, 1 growing season, and a mistake or 2 I didn't plan on filming, but kept in anyway, because the trick works better when you see exactly where it goes wrong first. I'm not going to pretend this was effortless. It wasn't a set-it-and-forget-it hack, no matter how the thumbnail made it look. It was a season of checking on a plant, fixing 2 mistakes I could have avoided by reading 1 extension bulletin first, and waiting out 3-week stretches where nothing visible seemed to be happening at all.